In a vast desert where the golden sands stretch endlessly and the clear skies meet the horizon in an unparalleled view, lived a man named Saeed. Saeed was a skilled hunter, known in his tribe for his ability to survive in the harshest conditions. He possessed exceptional skills in tracking desert animals. But despite the desert's harshness and the people's need for food and water, Saeed had a kind heart and compassion for all living creatures. One scorching summer day, Saeed set out on a long hunting trip, promising to return with plentiful game to feed his tribe. He carried his rifle, some food and water, and embarked on his journey across the desert, where the scorching sands burned his feet. As he walked alone through the vast desert, he heard a strange sound coming from afar. It was a howl, but it was weak, as if the creature was in pain. Saeed suddenly stopped and listened intently. The sound was faint, carried by the desert winds, and he decided to follow it cautiously, wondering about its source. After a long trek, he arrived at a high dune on the edge of a small valley. There, as he drew closer, he encountered a strange scene. A small wolf was trapped in an iron net, its eyes glowing with fear, and its front legs swollen and bleeding. The wolf could barely stand, showing signs of exhaustion and hunger. Saeed felt a pang of sorrow as he looked at the wolf. The desert was an unforgiving place for wild animals, often forcing them to fight for survival. Despite this, he knew that saving the wolf's life could potentially endanger his own. Nevertheless, he decided to approach the wolf cautiously. Speaking softly as he gently stroked the wolf's head, he said, "Don't be afraid, I'll help you." Saeed began carefully removing the net, trying not to cause the wolf further pain. After some effort, he managed to free it. Saeed sat beside the wolf and placed a small amount of water in front of it to quench its thirst. The wolf drank slowly, as if appreciating Saeed's act of kindness. When the wolf finished drinking, it gazed at Saeed with its golden eyes as though expressing gratitude. Then, despite its wounds, it tried to stand but couldn't move far. Saeed decided to stay with the wolf for a while, waiting for it to regain its strength. Hours passed under the blazing desert sun. Finally, the wolf began moving slowly. Before it left, it turned back to look at Saeed one last time before disappearing into the sands. Saeed never imagined that this encounter would profoundly impact his life. Days went by, but on one scorching afternoon, as Saeed was returning to his tribe, he was suddenly surrounded by a pack of large wolves. They encircled him from all sides, their sharp teeth glinting, ready to attack. Saeed was in a dire situation. He only had a single rifle, and the wolves were closing in fast. Just when he thought he wouldn't make it, a group of smaller wolves appeared, all resembling the wolf he had saved weeks ago. One of them slowly stepped forward, then darted toward the larger wolves, growling fiercely. The wolf Saeed had rescued emerged as the leader of this group, courageously fighting off the larger wolves. In the end, the larger wolves retreated and disappeared. Saeed stood there stunned, watching the incredible scene unfold. The small wolf then approached Saeed, pausing in front of him as if to salute him, before disappearing with its group into the depths of the desert. Saeed felt a mix of astonishment and gratitude. He couldn't believe what had happened, but he realized that the desert world was not as it seemed. That moment proved to him that mercy and honesty never go unrewarded, and that wolves were not merely predators, but creatures capable of loyalty and emotion. From that day on, Saeed became wiser and more convinced that acts of kindness always return to their doer in some form. Despite the hardships of life in the desert, Saeed learned a profound lesson about the invisible bonds that connect all living beings.